42F engaged to 46M fiancé wants to make wedding changes with no real explanation. I have been engaged for the last 3 months. We talked about having a November wedding. He would like us to get married in his home country as it will be easier for his family there. He says he is not close to his siblings and mother who live in the U.S., as he was raised by his grandparents. I'm okay with having the wedding in his home country since I want him to have his family present as well. We talked about having 30 guests, close friends and family. Called various venues to get information. He even had one of his cousins visit the venues to get an idea of the places since neither one of us are able to travel. We had couple disagreements that made me concerned how we handle conflict. When a situation arises, he fights, becomes condescending, does anything to win the argument. Then when the emotions settle, he withdraws and does not want to talk about the issue, which makes it very hard to resolve anything. Just for reference, I had him over for lunch. He offered to help. I was making tostines, fried plantain, so I asked him to cut the plantain. After I showed him how to cut them by cutting one, I continued to prepare the rest of our meal. When I turned around, he did something completely different than what I showed him. He saw the disappointment in my face. Before I could say anything, he got angry and defensive. He commented he was not a child. He should be able to cut the plantain however he chooses, and that it could still be eaten. He was so angry he put on his shoes and stood by the doorway. I stayed very calm and finished preparing my meal silently. I sat at the table alone and ate. The entire time he stood by the doorway watching me. Halfway through my meal, while still standing by the doorway, he said he wanted to talk. We spoke, but never directly addressing what had just happened. He asked for food to take with him and said we'll talk about this another time. We never did talk about it. I was at his place doing an assignment for premarital class. My phone battery was very low at 7%. We needed to look up information, so I asked him if he could use his cell phone since his was fully charged. He answered that his cell phone was his and that he will use it only if he wanted to. He was upset and refused to complete the assignment since he did not want to use his cell phone. I was getting upset myself at his behavior, so I proposed to take a time out. Came back an hour later hoping we could talk about it. He wanted me to speak first, then afterwards he said, "Thank you for sharing," and said nothing. I sought the help of the premarital counselor and read books on managing conflict in a relationship. That was 1 month ago with no conflict since. Then yesterday, he said, "I know you may not like what I'm about to say, but I don't want a November wedding, but a January wedding with only maybe 2 witnesses." I asked him the reason for the change to understand him better. The only explanation I was given is that he feels November may be too stressful since we have not been talking wedding details for about a month. I'm not sure what to think since he wants to scale back from 30 guests to 2 witnesses and no longer seem to care now if his family is present or not. If scaling back, why push the date since there is not much to prepare for? I'm not opposed to an intimate wedding, but I still want something special. This makes me feel that it is being taken away from me and that it is about him, not us. I'm feeling at this point that it always falls on me to make things work in the relationship. Since that conversation yesterday, I have not heard back from him. Always text me every morning. Now to the next story, story 2. My fiancé, 31F, wants to bring a dog after marriage, but I, 29M, am allergic to pet hair and dander. What do you guys do if your GF/wife wants to bring pets and you are not okay with this? My GF says she wants to bring her pet dog later after marriage. That pet dog is currently staying in some other city with her old aunt who might pass away in some years. So she wants to bring the dog after marriage. The dog is a rescued stray which met with an accident, and she raised money for it and did the surgery. I also helped her at that time to take care of the dog during that period because she herself was scared of touching or petting dogs, and in hospitals you have to hold the dogs for any x-ray or cleaning or blood test. I did all that. I had no issues with that because I don't hate animals as such, and I felt she was doing a good job. The dog was staying at her flat since the surgery for around 10 to 15 days, after which she was not able to manage at all because it was too much work, and she is also a working woman. So I helped drive that dog to her village house around 8 hours drive from my city, and she said she felt relieved now that the dog is not here. She even said that she has realized how difficult it is to keep a dog and that she is just okay with her birds as pets. She has 6 birds, some big and some small. I have allergic rhinitis and I have to take a steroid spray when I get allergic attacks, and when I had to spend long hours with the dog one day, I had to go and get a nasal spray from the pharmacy because I was having trouble breathing due to staying a long time with the dog, and she was with me and saw that incident. I have been clear since the start of this relationship that I am not really okay with animals inside the house, mainly because I don't like to be unhygienic and also because of allergies. I even told her earlier that I am okay with you bringing your birds, but I am not okay with dog or cat or large animals because I stay in a flat apartment, and flats generally don't have much open spaces. I also specified to her that I also have allergy and breathing issues, and I sometimes take steroidal nasal sprays for the same, and these allergies get increased due to pet hair and dander. The dog has been staying in her village house since the last 1 year now, and she probably sees it only twice or thrice a year. The dog is with her aunt now, and aunt may pass away in some years. She says she wants to bring that dog after her aunt passes away. She says she doesn't imagine a life without the dog, and someday she will have to bring it. I said, can you ask someone to adopt it? You are totally aware of my issues, and you know we are busy and won't be able to manage it either. She is totally against giving it away to someone. I am so helpless, RN. For me, the main concern is hygiene and health issues more than anything else. I have observed no matter how much you train your dog or cat, it will poop or pee at least once anywhere inside the flat, and pet hair is impossible to stop. She says she will rather not marry me and stay with the dog. She was aware of my situation, and we dated for 3 years, and we're about to get married in coming February. What should I do?